Hello everyone, it's me Melissa. Welcome to the Ranting Shop. So today we're gonna be talking about Love and Marriage Huntsville. I believe it should be episode 8 today. And we're gonna be talking a bit about what went on in this episode, starting from Mel's music video shoot. She used her friend's estate, a beautiful estate, and she used a man named Daquan to produce her music video. And after the fact, she sits down and speaks to her friend and apologizes to her about Martel's rant on social media pertaining to Melody leaving her children with Brittany. And Brittany felt a certain kind of way because Martel was implying that she was an unfit person to take care of children, and Melody was apologizing on his behalf. And they spoke about how when somebody is, I suppose, spiraling or going into a dark space, they're gonna lash out, and that's something he has to fix and work on his own. Okay, so let's move on to Jaylin. Jaylin is working at Black. He's been employed there, I'm not sure for how long, let's just assume a year, as general manager for Tisha and Marceau's business. And Tisha comes through, and we find out that the bar manager and the chef quit. And I am wondering why they quit. Is it that they felt too much pressure, the lack of support from the owners? They felt that Jaylin was an incompetent general manager. What was the reason? I have no idea. So he ended up having to carry the burden of chef and bar manager on his shoulders. And he hadn't been sending Letitia monthly reports, and basically it's because he's been overwhelmed and tired and feels like Tisha is asking for a lot from him, considering he has the work of 2 other people to do. Okay, and he feels like, and I also feel like, how do you expect him to do his job efficiently when he has to do other things, other people's jobs? Anyways, they require the impossible from him and they expect him to pull through. Jaylin feels indirectly affected. He feels like there is a possibility that he is being indirectly affected by the tension with Tisha and Kimmy. And she, however, claims that she doesn't mix business with family and other situations, and actually feels offended that Jaylin would suspect that that would be the case. And she also addressed having to speak to Kimmy about what Miss Wanda told her about their altercation.
Holler at me. Go get over. Like I say, I like to shake a bone, and that's what I'm doing, getting the hell on. Please, let that
go. Miss Wanda did tell a half-truth, because I don't believe that Kimmy said to STFU, but they did play the replay, and what she said was, if you don't show me the evidence of me saying anything derogatory, be quiet. Basically, don't talk, like you have nothing to say. And so, as usual, Tisha runs with whatever her mom says because she feels as if her mom doesn't lie to her, but she does, and we saw that she did. So Marceau pops up and feels like Jaylin handled the pressure of dealing with 2 employees that quit, as well as having to run the business during a very busy time during a holiday weekend. And Jaylin, however, doesn't really feel like he gets enough support from the Scots. He feels as if they don't see or understand where he's coming from. Marceau refuses to see Jaylin's perspective. He feels like Jaylin is just complaining and Jaylin only wants backup. He just wants help. He doesn't want to figure things out on his own, which is actually the same approach he took to his wife. He felt like during the interview, I think it was the marriage counseling session, he felt like Tisha was just complaining too much. And I feel like that's the very same approach they have with Jaylin. But the difference is Jaylin is running their business. And even before he took that position, he requested some things which he never got, which basically means he expected some help from either the owners or maybe they could hire a general manager that he would learn from. They didn't do that. They just left everything up to him. It's like they were teaching him to swim by dropping him in the middle of the ocean and telling him to get to the shore on his own and swim for his life. Either you swim or you die. That's basically the scenario they put him in. And of course he went to the back to deal with some paperwork, and he was basically saying in the ITMs that he understood why people left because the pressure of the job is a lot. Now Maso sees that Tisha was right about hiring a more experienced general manager, and but it's kind of too late because you've already hired Jaylin, and he's doing the best he can with the limited knowledge that he has attained. So what more can you really expect from him? And Marceau actually feels like he's doing Jaylin a favor because he's showing him the amount of pressure I suppose he could be put under, and the fact that he dealt with it means he can do it, I guess. But if your employee is crying out for help, provide that help to your employee. Don't ignore him. Like, that's what's frustrating me, and blame him if the business fails. I just feel like that's whack, you know. So they're finally helping him do something and decided to put down the tables because the business is supposed to be opening in a little bit. And before they really do that, Tisha felt the need to apologize to her husband about the way she aggressively questioned him and stuff about what her mom said about him bringing wine to Melody and so on. And he feels as if the mom just comes to create chaos, and if after 15 years you don't realize what the issue of everything is, then like we really don't know what to tell you, at this point. Okay, so the conversation quickly changed to 15-year anniversary. They want to do a Vegas trip. Marceau is wondering, is your mom invited? And she says no, she's not invited. She's trying to put distance between him and her and his mom, and he's happy about that. So then we move on to Maurice. Maurice visits Lewis's business. They talk about the monster situation, and he just came to, I suppose, Lewis as a man to kind of smooth things over, to let him know that yes, I was firm and stuff like that, but it's because I believe that kids should be off limits, and as long as nobody speaks on children, everything should be cool. And he invited him to the Vegas trip and told him that that would be or will serve as a clean slate for our relationship. And so that was a good conversation. Mel and Destiny discussed the Vegas trip, talks about Martel potentially being there. Melody wants nothing to do with Martel, doesn't want to be grouped up with him, any of that. Destiny was like, okay, so will that be the same for me and Tiffany? Because I don't want to be grouped up with Tiffany. I don't want to be around her. And Melody's like, oh, what's your issue with Tiffany? Like, Melody, if you haven't figured out what Destiny's issue with Tiffany is, like, I don't know what will make you realize what it is. Because at this point, you're just trolling. Because for you to ask that question again after she's repeatedly told you what her problem was and has been, it's just you being selectively naive. You're choosing not to listen to your friend that you've known for so long, your friend that you want to be there for you, to mediate between yourself and Martel, your friend that you want to defend you like a pit bull, your friend that you want to be there and do your bidding, that's the one you're choosing not to understand. That's just very strange to me. You don't want her to have her differences with Tiffany, but you want her to be there to be a buffer for you and Martell. Like, you're using her at this point. You are using Destiny at this point. The lady basically saying that Tiffany has no couth, and that's her problem with Tiffany, and you're choosing to just completely ignore it. And as I keep saying multiple times, the reason why you're not seeing what Tiffany did as a big problem is because you put Tiffany up to it. You literally fed Tiffany the information and told Tiffany, okay, say this, and this is gonna help you solidify your spot on the show. She did it, she got backlash, and so you feel the need to constantly defend her, and that's what the situation is. Anyways, we go on to the Vegas trip. Everybody's on most of them are on, the Scots are on the bus. And then Tiffany and them come in, and they're acting bougie because I think Tisha said before you sit down, you have to take a little dance on the stripper pole, and Tiffany's acting like she doesn't know how to dance on a stripper pole, whatever. Martell is on the bus, and I didn't even notice Martell on the bus. But he was there. The Whitlows are a bit worried about the trip because you're like, I wonder what this is gonna be about. This seems like it's gonna be about a whole bunch of drama. And Tiffany of course has to say something smart and say, oh well, I wonder if this has to do with the game they played on in Taco Tuesday. Will they be doing that? Anyways, we learn about Miami Marcus, which is apparently Martell's alter ego whenever he's in Vegas. It's the turn up king, I suppose. And then when he did his ITM, he's like, I'm single and I could basically do what I want in Vegas. And I'm like, it's almost like Martell is trying to convince himself that he's single, because he's truly not. He's still with Ariane. He's single in the legal sense of the word, but he's still with Ariane. So that's why he has to convince us that he's single, but we know better. The hotel looks lovely. Kimmy was not trying to... What did I write there? Kimmy was not trying to play about her food because I think Marceau was trying to get her food in the fridge, and she's like, I made my list. These are all the foods on my list. Don't you touch my food, okay? Maurice is implying that Kimmy wanted to bring an additional helper, and so of course Tisha runs with it and says, oh, you need help? She needs somebody to help her, whatever. Kimmy did not look amused. Kimmy looked highly irritated by Tisha and by that whole conversation. So Marceau is like, do what you're gonna do and ask for forgiveness later. Marceau is just extremely toxic, and I am just over him and his toxicity. He's saying if Tisha messes around with a female, he doesn't have a problem with it because it is what it is. But she asks Martell, and Martell says cheating is when somebody don't know. And I'm like, let him tell it. He's the expert cheater, They bring up Destiny. Well, Tisha brings up Destiny and talks about Destiny said she thought she'd be included in Maurice and Kimmy's threesome because Kimmy was touching her and stuff. And then Tisha is trying to say that Kimmy rubs on a lot of people, including Martell, and they asked I believe she asked who does she rub on the most, and somebody said Martell, and she said she appreciates a beautiful woman, but she doesn't rub on Martell. And she says to Destiny, if you think everybody that likes you, that rubs on you, likes you, then that's a problem. And then I said, shade, because that is some shade. Okay, so they talked about the threesome, and Maurice is like, it's 15 years, it's time for that threesome. Basically was talking to Marceau and Tisha, he's not for a threesome because I feel like he's a lazy lover. I just don't feel like he'd be able to have the stamina to deal with 2 women. But anyways, Kimmy plans a pool party. You know, they're all in the house. They don't really want to go anywhere. Marceau doesn't want to help Tisha put a bathing suit on, and I'm like, I mean, I expect him to be that way. And in contrast, we find that Maurice is so willing to take on or put on Kimmy's bikini. So we see a bit of parallels between the 2 men. It could be a difference in the amount of time they've been married. It could just be a slight difference in their personalities. Maurice being a little bit nicer, I suppose, in his delivery than Marceau. Tiffany, she comes in the room. She says, you know how babies wake up, because I guess she and her man was taking a nap. And Marceau says, I try to know as little about my babies as possible. Who says that? Only Marceau would say something like that. Basically, he's saying that he leaves the child rearing to Tisha. And that is just extremely sad, because it's like, you don't want to know anything about your kids. You only want to make them and leave them for Tisha to take care of. That's sad. And then I believe Tiffany was like, I don't know how Tisha dealt with this man for 15 years. Yes, we all know. We've been watching their relationship for years, and we've been saying this for years. So yes. Then they talk about Marceau. Turns out he was fat and had no beard. So basically he was ugly, you know. Maurice, I think Marceau then said to Maurice that he was in a effed up marriage, and Tiffany goes and says that Kimmy had to come steal Maurice away, basically implying that Kimmy was a side chick. And then they go on the whole tangent of finding out who was the one who started that rumor of Kimmy being a side chick. Kimmy thinks it's Martel, because Martel was trying to throw people off of his cheating rumors and stuff like that, and put it on other people. Tiffany brings it up again when they migrated to the pool. Martel said that it was Marceau that told him that Kimmy was a side chick. He didn't come up with it on his own. However, Tiffany bringing it up brought up the whole conversation back again. And people were trying to find out, where did Tiffany get that information from? And we never really got the answer to that question. But I think the information got to her via Melody, period. Melody told her, you know, or else how would she know? She's not in that friend group. So they bring up, because Kimmy had it, and so she brought up the side baby rumors, which to me is fair game. Tisha was not feeling it. Tisha felt like, okay, so you're trying to defend me, but then you're not really doing a good job. Tisha, what? Absolutely ever. It was fair game to bring up that side woman rumors, because I feel like Tisha, deep down inside, she feels like he does have a side child. She feels like he has cheated on her, and that is why it affects her so much when people bring up the fact that he's potentially cheated, because I feel like she genuinely does not know, and she's probably on the fence and truly feels like there's a possibility that he might have cheated. Tisha brings up the Wanda debacle, because she says, since everybody's bringing everybody's business out in the front, let me talk about your situation with my mom. And she talked about how Miss Wanda said Kimmy told her to STFU, and Timmy was like, she didn't say that. And if she did, it was warranted, because Miss Wanda just came out of left field being disrespectful, bringing up stupid stuff. And I am with Kimmy. Like, I would totally blow up, because like, how much of this do I have to take? Like, I have to take on T-Man, which is Tisha's brother. I have to take on Tisha's auntie. I have to take on Tisha's grandfather. I have to take on Tisha's grand sister. Like, I'm sick of it. And she's like, they got that information from watching the TV. And then Kimmy's like, well, do you clarify things with them? And I really don't think that Kimmy clarifies things with them, because if she did, they wouldn't feel the need to come at Kimmy trying to get clarification from her about a situation that has nothing to do with them, Anyways, Jaylin is brought up. Tisha felt Jaylin was being rude because they had a text conversation and Jaylin kept saying, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. Tisha took it as disrespect. Kimmy is tired of the conversation. She feels like as much as they're saying Jaylin is disrespectful, they're also disrespectful to him. And Kimmy is just tired of everything. Marceau is saying that Kimmy doesn't hold Jaylin accountable for anything. Kimmy asked her husband, do I not hold Jaylin accountable for things? Her husband is agreeing with Marceau, so she's just tired of the conversation, and I think she either leaves the pool or just goes away from them. And then that's the end of the episode, and then we see a little bit of what happens in the next episode. We see Mel comes through. She might have to share a room with her ex, Martel. The men speak on divorce. Tisha wants Maurice to keep an eye out for Marceau. And Mel and Martel exchange words. So I'm going to talk a bit about Tisha. Tisha is very insecure. And as I said before, she says verbally that her husband didn't cheat or give her reasons that he had cheated. But she clearly is very insecure about whether he's cheated or not. She clearly doesn't know for sure whether he's cheated or not. I think the whole thing is she just doesn't want people to know that she's insecure or she's doubtful of whether he's cheated on her or not. So anyways, that's it for basically what happened for this episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. What else must I add? Is there anything that I have to add? Okay, I forgot to add a bit about Martel. I think in the ITM In the Moment interview, he spoke about, I guess they asked him a question about what does he think about being with these married people, and he's the only single one there, and he mentions that he doesn't have a problem with it because they're his friends. However, if Melody does come through, he doesn't know how he will deal with Melody because they don't know what they will get with each other. Maybe they'll get happy Melody, maybe he'll get aggressive Melody, maybe he will respond to her in a way that is not respectful or that is not good. So it's like he's expecting the worst and he's acknowledging that it will be awkward. Anyways, that's it for my quick review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Let me know if you guys like the review. Let me know what you'd like to add. Do you feel like Jaylin is warranted in feeling unsupported by the people who hired him? Do you feel like he should just man up and deal with what the job requires? Do you feel as if Melody's a good friend to Destiny? Because Melody wants Destiny to be there with her when it comes to Martel. But then when it comes to Tiffany, she refuses to defend Destiny, and that boggles my mind. What do you think you're gonna be up to in this Vegas trip? Let me know in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and see you guys for a next review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Bye.